it's, it's no surprise now, of course, when I say that, the youth turnout here in Georgia has been the highest across the country. And it's so rewarding to be able to be a part of that. Um, as we move towards the runoff elections, because we have two very historic runoff elections, and we are mobilizing our students in really, really high numbers. We're seeing like high turnouts in not only the metro Atlanta area, not only these larger populations, but also in these rural areas. So a lot of the next work that we're going to be doing over these next few weeks and few months towards the election is just strengthening our ties with these campuses and engaging those students, even though that we're going to be moving into a time where a lot of students will be traveling, they'll be going on vacations and spending time with family. So just to kind of highlight some of the things that CEPA was able to do this semester, last semester, for the spring semester, we only had 4 fellows across the state. We had a really awesome work. We actually were able to hire on 24 fellows to work across the state of Georgia, and they did wonderful, wonderful work. Across all their campuses, they had over 250,000 students at those campuses that they had access to, and we're doing registration tables to handing out information. And they did wonderful, exciting projects, as well as our non-fellow schools that I also try to help support them, because a lot of schools here in Georgia don't actually have dedicated civic engagement departments. And a lot of times those positions and those tasks kind of fall to, directors of student life or directors of student affairs. So kind of being that person that those campuses can come to for support has been very, very rewarding. And we've of course seen the results in the high turnout from the youth. It's kind of to highlight some of the things that my students were able to do. My fellows at North Georgia, they had an amazing idea to do the pledge wall. They had a pledge wall where people could come and, pledge to vote and pledge why they vote. And people wrote out the reasons, whether that be family reasons or their future. And they got to put it on a bulletin board for other people to read. And I kind of think that kind of like facilitates that area for people to come and kind of have a really good part in the electoral process and kind of think why they vote and why it's important to vote. We had my fellows at Mercer. They looked and saw that Lyft and Uber were giving out free rides to the poll, so they made an event out of it. They offered food and snacks and other candidate guides, the nonpartisan candidate guides that CEEP creates to students, so they can read up on it, and they would have a ride to the polls and back if they didn't have transportation. We also had several events where students actually, because of the challenges of COVID and the low amount of people that are on campus, they had a lot of virtual events. One of my favorite ones was it was entitled "What's the Tea with Democracy," and people could log on and kind of get into the Zoom room, and everyone kind of had their favorite tea mug or coffee mug, and they talked about what's going on in this election, and they talked about kind of what it meant to them, and it was a lot of spread of different ideas and different perspectives, and it was kind of really, really awesome and very motivating, because there are definitely a lot of reasons why a lot of people vote. And so, just kind of utilizing a lot of these skills, these students were able to mobilize a lot of people on their campus. The even better news is, all of my fellows, with the exception of those that are graduating, of course, this December, have all been extended. So all their fellowships have been extended through the runoff period. So we will be able to continue this groundwork on these campuses and really getting in as many people registered, as many people educated about the elections, and as many people out there to the polls, whether it be voting early, voting by mail, or voting in person. It's all hands on deck down here, and it's really, really exciting, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. And another thing as well that we're trying to work on is not only strengthening our ties with the administrations and administrators on these campuses across the state, but also working with our faculty members. We have a very, very good group of faculty members at each of our campuses that work very, very well, and they have very strong relationships with their students. And that's going to be very, very important when students leave campus. Students will be kind of leaving campus around the November 27th through the 30th. They're going to be leaving for an extended break, because a lot of campuses in Georgia have decided that they don't want students coming back after they go home for November break or Thanksgiving break. And so they're just saying to stay home, and they won't be coming back to campus after the election's over. So it's really, really important that we use these next few weeks to kind of building up that framework, building up that structure, and building up these plans of how to engage them while they're gone. Working with social media aspects, using the nonpartisan candidate guides that we have. We're working on getting them to be more easily digestible, graphics, really awesome, so they can share them on their Facebook pages, their TikToks, Snapchats, and Instagrams, and kind of going to where these students are. And also working with our faculty members, because they will still have access to these students. It is break, but they will still be finishing up classes and finishing up exams. And so our hope is to get this information to them, get these guides to them, get the general information for the runoff, so that they they can send them to full emails around the school to their students, while the other students are mobilizing each other and energizing each other and getting this election off. It's incredibly amazing, and I'm so glad that I get to talk about it all day, every day. And I brag about my fellows because they're doing incredible work. And they think of things that I don't even ever get to think of. So it's been incredibly rewarding. I keep saying that because our fellows are out here and they're doing the hard work of engaging people on these college campuses.